My name is Kent Bond, physical therapist. Been practicing for going on 24 years now. We're at Impact Physical Therapy in Hillsboro, Oregon. Our practice here has been in existence since August of 2004, so we've just had our 7th year anniversary. Our practice primarily consists of, it's an outpatient orthopedic clinic, and lots of shoulders, knees, ankles, and your spine. So we've found the Shuttle Balance system to be really a tremendous tool as we rehabilitate our orthopedic patients, specifically our athletes. But again, it works really well with our stroke victims, as well as our we don't have a lot of spinal cord. We don't do a lot of rehab that way, but it certainly works well with our neurologically challenged patients, whatever that may be. I'd say a very wide range. Jessica's been helping me with a gal, I'll say her first name, Marge, is in her late 70s, early 80s, and spinal stenosis, and she loves it. She's told us that. She loves getting up on it. It's fun. It gives her something exciting to do. And then we've had people probably as young as 7, 8 years old on it. So it's really, really eclectic, and it gives us that fun factor for physical therapy. And obviously, we do a lot of ACLs. We do a lot of ACLs, ankle, but the hips. There's very few of our patients that can't benefit from core and hip strengthening, even though it may be their ankle we're seeing them for. But so it's primarily our lower extremity patients, but we can use it with our upper extremity patients as well. It's only as limited as your imagination, really, so to speak. I'm a Division I soccer player from the University of Portland. We've used it with her along with box jumps, but jumping onto, jumping off of it, incorporating the BOSU into that. So that's the most advanced athlete we've had here. We wouldn't have had the balance system. I wouldn't have had anything. The jumping from the ground onto a gym ball, too advanced, and my liability and their patient safety wasn't ready for that. But something like this, because the platform box jumps, jumping onto and off the BOSU, she had exhausted the challenging aspects of those exercises. So it really was nice to have that, to say, okay, we can go to that next level. What we'll use is, like with Marge, let's go our 80-year-old spinal stenosis patient. Something as simple as standing, weight shifting. Can she hold that for 5 seconds? And 5 seconds, of course, you have your uninvolved extremity to use as your good side. And so she can do that for 10 seconds, and all of a sudden she can do this for 3 without grabbing. So when she could get up to 5 seconds, 10 seconds without grabbing, she noticed the improvement, and we could document that. Sure. So that's one thing we've been able to use for documentation is single leg stance for time. Then statically, and then you'll have your single leg stance with going out to the side, back, and can they do 10 of those with no corrections? They get to that point, then we do eyes closed. Can she stand there with her eyes closed and not have to touch for 5 seconds and do those kind of things? So again, starting out really low, static stance to some movement. And then you can go around, and I love being able to do the perturbation on there, kicking that without them having to. So those are kind of the benchmarks that we'll use prior to the next step.
Fantastic. One of the things that you had touched on briefly when we met in Seattle, you had mentioned about placing markers on the chain. I think you were talking about taping the chain. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, in fact, we have those on here right now. So here's a white piece of tape. So when we start out, we may say that this is, if we wanted to say level 1 would be on chain link 1. And then if I wanted to go to level 5 or 6, so we can either put chain, especially if we're moving it quite a bit, and we want to make that notation so we can move this in. I think we're all trying to use this as level 10, pretty wide base. And then you get that higher, and you want to be able to know, if Andrea moves this, one of my other therapists moves this, I want to be able to go back to that protocol with another patient. So we can put different colored tape. Right now we're just primarily using white athletic tape
Sure.
to denote where we want to go. So that's just another tool we can use. Here's the white tape here to know which link we're on with patient so-and-so. In our setting here, I'd have to say our athletic, our return to athletes, whether it's an ultimate frisbee player or a Division I soccer player, using it for an ACL baseball pitcher right now, trying to get strength in the stance, like balancing on it. So I'd certainly say our athletic population.
And would you say that there's anything else out there on the market that can do what the Shuttle Balance does as far as the same kind of drills?
No, and I've looked at the different products that are out there. Very, very nice products with computerized screens. I don't know if I'd want a 250-pound guy jumping on and off those, and I don't think they're designed for that. So in my clinical setting, the other products that I looked at, and I did some pretty good research on those, for my patient population, what my use is, there's nothing like the Shuttle and the durability. I mean, this one's been worn pretty well. We'll use the Shuttle Balance with the rebounder, and we'll use the Shuttle Balance with our sports cord apparatus, whether we're using leg stuff, a sports cord with it, or doing arm things. So the Shuttle Balance, and again, we'll throw the BOSU in. So I'd say that's probably been the biggest application. Haven't had a chance to really experiment with the TRX. I think the TRX would be something that we could put feet on or arms on as their feet are in, and we could use the TRX suspension system with this. I've seen people doing planks and those kind of things on that. Just add another element, the frustration factor with PT and using the TRX, but we haven't used that here yet.